All right, we are live for the Friday edition of the Morning Check-In. And as always, looking forward to connecting and just sharing with you some things that caught my attention. A lot of interesting developments in the financial world, and in particular, looks like silver's getting a nice little bid this morning. What's going on with that? And crypto. The bankers and our Congress are collaborating in real time, trying to, prepare the way for the digital distractions to advance further, driving more of Americans' attention towards that sector, while giving the banks permission to, enter the crypto space officially. The way that all this seems to be working out, and according to a strategic strategy that was set well before all this came about. But anyway, looking forward to connecting, man. Let me know if everything is looking okay on your end. Let me know in the chat for those who may be watching. Want to make sure I encourage everybody to check in, plug in with me, hit that thumbs up button, show your support for the channel, and let me know if the audio is coming in and everything in between. I want to make sure that there's no hiccups or hangups on my end, preferably if I can prevent that. And I got maybe, let me see, 10 to 12 tabs. Pretty much for the most part, all of it dealing with, the current financial sector. And I want to share some thoughts, ideas surrounding this current silver squeeze and get your take as well. So welcome to the live stream, good people. All right, there. Let me know where you watch from in the chat, man. If you want to get a quick shout out, and we can go from there. We got looks like Aces of Silver checking in thus far. And of course, we have more people to plug in that don't really get too involved in the chat there. So big up to my people who want to remain anonymous, my anonymous watchers, especially over on Rumble. So getting a nice little following over there. So excited the fact that there are people in various places that like to hear an alternative perspective on things. Aces and Silver says no Rumble. Give me a second here. Let me see what's going on. It looks like Rumble is streaming. So I am streaming on Rumble. Yeah, so I'm good there. So appreciate you. Looks like I am good there. Okay, don't want to waste any time. So as always, you know how we do the layout here. Get into some good news, get into some financial activity. Then I'll share my 2 cents on just, whether geopolitical or just local stuff happening, and go from there. So all righty here. So it's been a minute since I did the vertical, so I got to make sure I get everything right on the back end here. Let me see here. Make sure everything is flowing smoothly. And also, because I want to make this somewhat of a back and forth amongst the community, so feel free to let me know what topics or subjects you guys are keeping your eyes on in the chat, and we can definitely shine some light on that. As always, 2 eyes can only see so much, but you get dozens or hundreds of eyes out there keeping your gazes open. I'm sure we can cover a lot more topics faster if you guys want to bring something to the table. So, all right, so we move forward. So as always, for those who may not know, Rumble and YouTube, subscribe there, follow us there, and you'll always stay plugged in. Hit the bell notification. No guarantees you'll get notified. And then on Rumble, hit that check mark. I hope that you'll get notified, so you'll always be able to plug in with the community. And I want to remind people as well, if you have not connected with RTD on the socials, in particular Telegram, links in the description for the social tab. And if you are active on social media throughout the day, this is the place you want to connect, where you can share articles, videos from your favorite commentators and favorite analysts, video creators, whoever. Put it out there so the community can stay plugged in. So that's an option for people as well. Okay, let's get into it. Start off with some good news, get into some promotional stuff, then get into the primary subject of the morning, which is what is up with this silver surge this morning. Okay, but nevertheless, it's time for some good news from my daily devotional. So May 17th, never a dull moment, freedom through his love. Through his love. It says here, stand fast, therefore, in the liberty by which Christ has made us free, and do not be entangled again with the yoke of bondage. This is from Galatians 5:1, the New King James Version. And then it goes on to say, God loves you unconditionally. Just, that's those 4 words are enough to really get your day started. Just to remind yourself that God loves you unconditionally. He doesn't care for you less when you fail or more when you accomplish great things for him. His devotion to you is based on his unfailing character, not anything you can do or say, according to Romans 5:8. says, take this to heart, regardless of how your situation turns out today. If circumstances go awry, you may wonder if God is punishing you. But remember that Jesus paid the full penalty for your sins, past, present, and future, by his death. That's from Romans 6:23. It says, the Father will discipline you to liberate you from your bondage to sin, but he will never condemn you. Romans 8:1 says, friend, you don't have to earn God's love or try harder. You're precious in his sight, covered by the priceless blood of Jesus and indwelt by his Holy Spirit. Man, let me say that again. You're precious in his sight, covered by the priceless blood of Jesus and indwelt by his Holy Spirit. Don't hide your heart or fear you're not good enough for him to care for you. Accept his love, obey him, and allow him to keep you in his wonderful freedom. Then it goes on to say, closing prayer. Jesus, thank you for accepting me fully. Help me love you with my life in return. Amen. All right, good people. That is a good news for this morning. Hopefully that was a blessing to you and hopefully got your wheels turning a little bit, reflecting on God's goodness and his unfailing love to you. So, yeah. Okay, let's keep it moving, man. Man. It's always good to start off with some good news. Then you get into the natural world stuff that, everybody want to focus on throughout the day. Man, it's, just a little side note here. I enjoy, over the last couple of weeks, months, starting off the show in a different manner in relations to what really matters to me most. And that is literally the word of God and the importance of it in our lives. And so hopefully you guys value it as well by starting your day off with the show with some good news and then getting into some natural things. But at the end of the day, the pecking order of what should be most important: spiritual, natural, then practical. And practical is the things you can do with the information that's delivered to you in reference to things of this temporal world we live in. So, okay, don't want to go on a rant like that. But anyway, so let's get into it, man. I got a lot of things I want to get to in a timely manner and what we're looking like on time. Okay, we're decent on time. Okay, where we go? Let me go. Okay. So feel free to throw some thoughts, ideas in the chat for those who plugging in with me. Appreciate you as always. What do we got here? Let's get this going. Let me move some things around here, man. Always something on the back end here. Okay, so as always, for those who may be new to the community, you never know who might be new. Want to encourage people, remind people of the opportunities that are present here at the channel. So, $IQ quiz, 10 quick questions makes a world of difference for those who are probably just plugging in. You never know. I think there are still people that are new to the fold that need a little bit of reminding as well as refreshing on a variety of subjects. And in particular here, the $IQ, 10 simple questions make a world of difference. Basically, it exposes that knowledge gap that we all have at first before coming across the subject matter on what is the essence of the dollar. So here you got 10 questions, rethinkingdollar.com/quiz. Sweet and simple, straight to the point. And then after that, there's 3 steps to monetary savviness that I put beneath this video here where you can plug in and, basically fill in a knowledge gap and improve yourself from there. So check it out if you guys are interested. Okay. Yeah, let's go. Also, for those who may be new to the fold, you never know. Colonials Metals Group, as you can see above my head here, colonialsmetalsgroup.com/RTD. Links in the description. This is an opportunity for those who are now awake and aware and plugged in and want to take action in reference to taking their portfolio out of the hands of the legacy system and then put it into something that is strategically designed to help you protect, preserve what you work so hard for via your retirement portfolio. So here, as you guys can see on the screen here, if you go here, fill out this survey here, you'll be contacted by some experts who can help you steer these future fluctuations we're going to experience by allowing you to have a self-directed IRA where you can deposit a variety of things in there. But, for me personally, I encourage people to, make sure they have possession of their gold and silver. And so you can do that through these vehicles here. So if you're interested, feel free to reach down to the description and get more information there. Here's all the details you need as to why it's important. Here's some testimonials and also gives you a chance to find out more about Colonials Metals Group. And so you can give them a call at 888-521-2448 and speak to the experts directly and find out if this is something good for you, of which hopefully by now you realize a sense of urgency because when silver's popping, gold's popping, obviously something's breaking. What is breaking? Something is breaking globally. So just a little heads up for those who may not be too in tune with what's going on. But anyway, feel free, click the link down below, find out more, and you'll speak to the experts there and get their expertise, find out if it's for you or not. And on top of that, if you do plug in, you have a chance to add to your stack. They give you a free safe as well as up to for those who qualify, $10,000, on top of what you have. So that's a very great incentive for those who want to plug in with them. So go check them out, people. Okay. Tom says silver was $30.71. Right. And that's where everything is premature in nature. But then again, me being a monetary enthusiast, as I call myself, whenever I see activity like this, I only think about, what's happening under the surface, what's happening behind the scenes that's worth bringing this topic to the forefront. And of course, it's always subject to, price suppression mechanisms from the LBMA and COMEX. But once again, because this is driven by the Eastern Hemisphere, I'd imagine there's not much you can really continue to do in the paper realm as far as slamming down the price. But then again, there's always potential for that. But once again, manipulation has always been my best friend because it allows me to position myself even more so in something that I believe will be well worth my efforts in the future. So that's just me, but I'm sure you guys agree by now. Okay, let me see. So it looks like more people plugging in. Okay, way more people on Rumble plugging in. For my people on Rumble, if you're plugging in over there, let me know where you're watching from, and I'll give you a shout out. I wish I could connect both services right now, but I can't. But yeah, we got a lot of people on Rumble checking in. Appreciate you guys, man. Shout out to you people on Rumble. Okay, don't want to waste your time. Let's get into it. Yeah, let's let me refresh this page because prices might have changed. So look, so when I plugged in this morning, we are at $2,401 in gold, $30 in silver. Oops, let me see. Get wrong screen. Oh, you go. Okay, man, just get me so excited this morning. Forget what I'm doing sometime. Okay, so as you can see here, let me just get myself out the equation. Y'all guys don't want to see my ugly mug. Minimize myself a little bit. Okay, so as you can see here, so this type of activity here, when you see price moving like this, to me that signals something is taking place, and it's not, of course, driven or led by the Western Hemisphere, because they would love more than ever to suppress this, because as we are witnessing in Congress right now, our Congress, House and Senate, is more excited about allowing the financial institutions to be the custodians and to be the gatekeepers in and out for crypto. That to me just, just a lot of alarm bells go off, because we got historical precedents for gold and silver, but yet we never hear any of our mainstream individuals speak on gold and silver. But then again, Thomas Massey, the representative from, I think, Virginia, if I'm not mistaken, he's out here, putting out some bills that I wish they could go viral. So we're going to get into that as well. Okay, but real quick, I had to start off with that. So let me just click on some of these, and so we just see what the current activity is, and then we'll keep on moving, man. So silver, I got to start off with silver, because to me that says a lot. Let me get this on the screen here. Where am I at? Okay, why is it bigger than it should be? Let me see if I can shrink this down some. Give me a second here. Let me see what I got going on here. Let me move myself out the way. What is going on? Why is it so? Okay. Man, I don't like this. Give me a second. It's not populating the way that it should. Give me a second, people. As always, there's something. So it's showing bigger than what it should, and it wasn't doing that a moment ago. So this could be that technical difficulty that I always refer to. But let me get this out the way. All right, so let me try to zoom in. There we go. My bad. That was all me. You know me. That was all me. Okay, so here we got. This is what we got here. So let me just go hit this right here. Bam. This is today. This is today's activity. If I can get rid of these bubbles here. I don't want these bubbles, but some people may just be plugging in, so you never know. But as we can see here, let me zoom in more here. Okay, no, let me zoom out some here. Okay, so let me plug in more here. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so as we can see here on the screen, this is what we woke up to this morning. So literally at 8:37, the markets opened up, or was getting ready to open up, and the futures was at 29.80. As you can see above my head, 29.80. And then when the markets open up, it shot up. Boom, got up to, according to here. Let me see if I can get out of here. If it got up to, let me see. What's the peak? What was the peak? So just say 30. Somebody said 30.71. So we'll just say 30.71. Then there's immediate sell-off. And that literal sell-off was literally the algorithms. Like literally the system itself is entrenched with computer algorithms that literally have become the primary traders of all this activity taking place in the futures realm and in the stock market especially. So literally there was an attempted effort, as you can see here. This effort from $30.52 down to $30.16 was short-lived within, let me see, bam, that happened 30 down to, so within 8 minutes, this slam down is an 8 minutes, attempted slam via the algorithms upon what's happening in the Western Hemisphere. And then immediately on the back end of that, look at this surge right back. So within that little short 8 minute span there, that was a 40 cents or so slam, but then it shot up 40 cents plus. So to me, that just spells like, there's some definitely, it's becoming harder to manipulate the system. And if this is short lived, meaning that before the end of the day, you can create probably another 100 million contracts. And then with those fake contracts, you can literally, sell 75 million of them or something of that magnitude, and then get it back down to $29.75. And then it'll look like the headlines will read, silver took a beating today. And then people be like, man, I thought this was going to be the day. Don't be fooled. And to be truthful, as I always say, I would prefer if it stayed below 30, just because it's just, once again, you can never work hard enough in the real world to then redeem paper notes to save in sound money. So there's always room for more is what I'm getting at. Okay, so let me keep it moving. Now, what does this really equate to? I was looking at the gold to silver ratio. And so we know that over the last, speaking of which, real quick, let me, man, so much going on. Let me share something else with you as well. Like, because on my end, I love my visual aids, and I'm everywhere this morning, but bear with me. It's Friday, people. Bear with me. It's Friday. It's going to all be worth your time. And so what I actually did, I updated this visual aid here. And so I originally put this together in 2017. This was 3 years into my journey of covering what I consider to be monetary literacy, of just me interviewing some of the top people in the game to steal their knowledge, to add it to my knowledge bank so that I could then share it on my channel. And through my journey of just reading books, man, a bookshelf, I got reading books. And so I put together what I consider to be a monetary cheat sheet for the people. And this literally from 1792 at the very top of this page, all the way to, where we at? Well, you can't see it, but over to where I attempted to look into the future all the way to 2030. So from 1792 to 2030 equates to 238 years, I think. Yeah. No. 230, no, 38. Let me get my math right. Somebody do the math for me. Let me 30, 38. Anyway, so you get my point. Like I was writing a blog last night and I had some numbers in my head, but over 240 years. So to me, this is a ultimate cheat sheet for those who might be new to the community. You may not know much about what's happening with our money. It's all centered around the dollar and all the activity that took place. Everything from every single coinage act, every single executive order that impacted the dollar, it can be found here. And this is a part of the monetary savviness steps down below where you can download this. And I encourage people, thumb through it, find some things that's wrong, or shoot me a text, say, hey, Mike, add this to it. That'll help me add to it to put it out there for the community. So if you guys want to do that, download it in the description here. This is a part of the educational journey that I encourage people to take. So, okay, I had to get that out the way. Why? Because also on these things above my head, I give in each category the gold to silver ratio throughout this entire 200 and something plus journey of what we've used as a monetary medium in its various forms, labeled as a dollar. And then I show here, but behind me here, right here, that all dollars are not created equal. And so yeah, it's real. It was fun to put together. Like it took some time, but anyway, okay. But I have to educate my people. You never know who might be new. Okay, so the reason I mentioned all that, I showed you that because on there I have the dollar, I have the gold to silver ratio. So that's something worth paying attention to, because once again, we know it's skewed. It's not a good representation of the true value in relation to the ratio of gold to silver out of the ground. It's out of the ground 1 to 7, 1 to 8, 1 to 9, depending on who you ask. You know what I'm saying? So I remember asking Keith Newmeyer a couple years ago. He said it's coming out like, I think he said 1 to 8 on his side, and he's big in the game. So anyway, what we witnessed so far with the silver surge, literally since February of this year, we've seen as silver has nominally in nominal terms increased in dollar value, the ratio has come down. And this number is still so far beyond reality. So as of right now, today, as I'm speaking, it's 78 ounces of silver is relevant in value to one single ounce of gold. So it takes 78 ounces to get you one gold. That's borrowing premiums and all that stuff like that. And so literally, if we are witnessing the the suppression mechanisms in, and the greater the chance of a true ratio, I'm trying to think of the words, the true closure of this ratio to what it should be realistically. And gold is at 2,400, which is that all-time high territory. That means silver has to be within that 10-to-1 ratio, just for good sakes, which should put, if the all price suppression mechanisms fell off silver right now, silver shot up at a bare minimum. As I'm speaking, silver should be $240 an ounce. That's barring gold not moving. That's how close those should be in USD terms. But as we can see here, it fluctuates. So this goes back all the way to 1993. So we had it up at 84 ounces of silver for one gold ounce, and then it slammed down. Bam, we're down at 43. Stayed around this 50 range for quite some time. Then great financial crisis happened, $34. And then, of course, everybody remember not GFC, but the health situation when literally silver went down to, what was it, $15 an ounce. And I remember being right there for that right there. So we got to 66. So literally we got 43, 39, 68 in the last 2 decades plus. So what are we looking at? If the paper market breaks from the Western Hemisphere and China continues to lead the world towards a more realistic price discovery, this 78%, whatever we are today, literally could come down to somewhere down here where it'd be like, man, it'd be some figures we ain't seen ever. That's how promising silver can be. That's how much upside is available for those who realize the importance of having what is called the people's money. Okay, keep it moving. And then just here's a little commentary here. So as always, I plug into people who are experts and very knowledgeable in the field. And so this is from Jamie. He's out there on the Twitter sphere. He's a senior investment advisor and senior portfolio manager at Canaccord Genuity Financial, whatever. Okay, so this is his commentary on this. So this is a snapshot from the Shanghai Exchange, and every day the person, Bao, I can't pronounce Bao, BAI, posts activity at market close in China. So anyway, this is what was shared today. So literally, this is silver's price at when markets close in China. And so it was $32.96, which was and is an all-time high in China. So literally, the physical price that's being driven up by China, it's only natural that the paper market in this avenue also follows, because people on this side of the planet literally are asking for delivery of the physical because of that arbitrage difference, to where you can buy over here at these manipulated prices of 30 and then somehow trade it over there and make that spread, which, if you're messing with millions or even billions, that right there is a hell of a nice profit that you can make. So that's one of the issues that we're witnessing with this difference in price. Like, the higher it goes in Shanghai, the higher it's going to go here, because it's only natural to take physical possession over here. And our vaults, is sure, it's good to say, they're literally scrambling to get real silver and gold. And so it says the bid for physical is $2,433 for gold and $32.96 in the Shanghai X. It says don't dismiss that with the price discovery gone, the COMEX and LBMA are but paper moons that will quickly become irrelevant. So this is an opinion analysis of a person who lives in this space full time and is a advisor. And this is what he's saying. Like, literally, COMEX, LBMA, because of this activity, will become irrelevant. This is something that you won't see across Fox and CNN with this type of narrative. But you will see some crypto stuff. Let me get into that in a minute. Okay, so what else is good out here? Thomas Massey yesterday put out the End the Fed bill, Federal Reserve Board Abolition Act, HR 8421. It says Americans will be better off if the Federal Reserve did not exist. The Fed devalues our currency by monetizing the debt, causing inflation. And so he put together these 3 pages. And so the last page here are all his constituents that are in support of this bill. And mind you, this bill was first introduced by Ron Paul back in the 1990s or something like that. And it never sees the light of day. But just the fact there are some representatives that talk good, it's enough to get excited about. Because what I was thinking like last night was, wouldn't it be great if, for example, Elon Musk retweeted this to where the entire X community was able to see this and then just begin asking questions like, okay, well, we got a senator who's out here, a representative out here literally talking about abolishing the Fed. What's the Fed? So what it would do is it would shine more negative light on the Fed, because the Federal Reserve and in cahoots with our government, they're the culprits to why life is so uncomfortable for many. The reason poverty exists is because of the policies and the manipulation of currencies that exist because of these entities. And it'd be good right now to get a lot of attention. It'd be good and dangerous, because if people were to wake up and literally start going down to all 12 branches plus of the Federal Reserve and standing outside with signs, we want accountability, audit the Fed, give us our money back type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wouldn't be a part of the equation. And so literally, it'll be very disruptive and promising for the slightest chance of gold and silver being able to be accumulated by the masses rather than being, 0.1% of the population, because the alternative to going back to gold and silver is crypto, which has been thrust in front of the American public as a way of making sure people don't go back in time to get physical. So anyway, so here's another little visual right here. It says the Federal Reserve is a private bank that makes money off the interest it loans out to you in the form of cash. It's a purely self-serving institution. No chart illustrates just how destructive the Fed is better than this one, looking at U.S. inflation from 1790 to 2015. So as you can see here on the screen, I love visual aids, so this caught my attention. And what we can see throughout history, I gotta get my zoom in on 1 second here. Bear with me so we can see. So literally, if we go from 1792 or 1774, this is where they start. And so we see each little war time frame led to a surge in the currency in circulation, which ultimately reflected in the price during those times. So we got the War of 1812. There's a little blip here. So this blip, let me just zoom in. So this blip here led to an increase in the cost of living for citizens at that time. But mind you, in 1814, a day's wage was like a quarter, a silver quarter at that. So, you could do a lot more. But so imagine being in that time frame where inflation was becoming a problem, and where instead of, 1 quarter being a day's wage, being able to allow you to buy a basket of groceries for your food, for your family, now it's 40 cents, to where you're like, man, I'm feeling a pinch. Like, it's getting tight in my pockets. Man, I need a quarter, a dime, and a nickel, to go out and feed my family. Like, think about that mindset, which we couldn't fathom. But that's the same level of potential discomfort that they may have had on top of, war and everything else. But, increase of inflation because of, at that time, there not being enough gold available. So the government decided to print more paper units. And so because they're not trying to have banknotes. So there's, this is a part of the journey I talk about in history. They were in a large amount of banks issuing their own individual notes. And it was so many banks issuing notes, it was confusion to where it got out of hand, because banks were just issuing paper and people were taking paper to this bank, try to cash it. They wouldn't get it. So anyway, I got a history lesson. But so my point is, imagine having a slight pinch of discomfort because the cost of living goes up then. And this was minor compared to what we're experiencing now. The reason I'm saying is because it gets worse. Then we had 1843, inflation dropped, according to this visual aid here. 1865, the Civil War, we know that's when the greenback became the official legal tender-ish status when that time frame there. And we know what happened there. Paper became problematic. People wanted to go back, but it was still redeemable. And slowly but surely, this is when the bankers really ramped up their game and trying to take silver out the people's hands and instituting gold in as the primary standard of the era. But before that, it was a bimetallic standard. Okay, keep it moving. Inflation. So imagine inflation during that time frame, very problematic. And this was without a central bank. So here we are now, 1913. Central bank created. And it's been a disaster ever since. It has failed in every form. The people, but the Federal Reserve has been very successful in reference to what it was set out to do, which was to privatize American currency, making it their product, which is then sold and loaned and lent out to our government and then extracted back in the form of taxes, and then taxes in every other area of life, sales tax, life tax, death tax, all them taxes, to where it all circles back. Economic energy, economic productivity literally is stolen away, and all the real world assets that people work for, live for, and build is concentrated into the hands of a small few. And they all are at the top of the pyramid of success / political influence. Okay. But 1913, 1929. So this is where we get into the paper manipulation game. You know what I'm saying? The elasticity of currency just starts to stretch out. Okay, bam. So here, bam, 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 bam. Just look at this graph now. So now we're in a central bank era. And it's only natural that as a result of that, inflation or currency debasement is the reason, is the technical term for inflation. It just goes through the roof to the point where now they abandoned the gold standard. In 71, we know how that played out. And so this was as of the GFC. So this is an older rendition, but just the soon to be exponential curve. And mind you, now it's a lot higher. It's off this page. That's how bad things are. And ultimately, what it does, it just shows up. And so I'm saying all this because I'm giving somewhat of a history lesson for all my people who may be new. So let me give you an example in fiat currency terms of what happened. This is what happened. When literally what a dollar used to be at this current moment is maybe 2 cents, maybe 1 cent, depending on how you measure it. And literally we've reached the end point of this debt-based model. And that's why all this digital stuff has become forefront, and it's going to be a primary subject matter this upcoming election between Biden and Trump. They're going to somehow squeeze in, some digital talk. And it's all a precursor to the introduction of a privately held, centrally controlled, digitized representation of what we call a dollar. It'll be labeled as central bank digital currency, commercial bank, whatever, but it'll be a synthetic dollar because it'll be just purely digits on a screen, owned and operated by the same entity that has caused this massive debasement of our currency. And to counter that, what has been the beneficiary of this type of debasement has been gold. Even though it has been suppressed, it still outperformed any other asset outside, of course, the introduction of Bitcoin, whatever. But this is what it looks like in real form. So literally at the same time, what used to be a dollar in gold term was equivalent to $20 in 1913. Then we had the confiscation. They revalued it up to 35, and that's this little dip here. That literally the government was recapitalized. And so now we got this dip right here. This is the equivalent of $15 in nominal value added to our currency, which led to the spike in the value of the dollar going up. And then we go right along. All the events took place. And then we had in 80, we had gold spike up. And then we had in 2011, gold spike up. And so here we are now. As of right now today, this is what we got. We got gold at 2,400, and we got the Federal Reserve note. Let me make sure I put this in the picture. Federal Reserve note, 2 cents. I just put 2 cents on it just for fun. So literally, it takes 2,400 pieces of paper to get you 1 ounce of gold, not mentioning premium, which would be another 100. So $2,500 to get 1 ounce of gold, where back in the day, one single unit, it used to take you 20 to get you one of these little boys right here on the screen. And this is a $2.50 piece. $2.50 piece. Okay, enough of that. So my point is, when Representative Massey introduced the Federal Reserve Board about Abolition Act in the Fed, Here's all the list of people who jumped on board. We got Andy Biggs out of Arizona. We got DeLorean from Colorado, OKC, Oklahoma, Tennessee. So literally, these are all Republicans. Not one single Democrat would ever put handcuffs on themselves by trying to even hint at ending the Fed, because our country really wouldn't even know what to do. They wouldn't know what to do because they've abdicated the responsibility of currency for the last 111 years. They wouldn't know what to do. So literally, our country would be screwed because our treasury, which is supposed to be in charge of our finances, they run almost $2-3 trillion deficit. So they wouldn't know how to balance a budget because we can't because of the damage that's been done. So literally, the United States Mint, who actually issues our legal tender constitutional currency, they're just the puppet entity like that, whatever. So anyway, but this bill here, if it went viral, if people really got behind it, if like we could get like the people, meaning the masses, all 300 something million of us aware of this, and then to sign off on this and literally call every representative demanding that this be addressed, then we could probably can see a little something jump off. We can see a little something jump off. That's a positive side. But unfortunately, because the system has been captured, because Congress has been captured, they're going to throw an event at us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where, like, it's just sad when their back's against the wall or something like that, they play dirty. They're going to throw an event at us, and they got a whole playbook waiting on us. And it's unfortunate. So it just makes it seem like there could be no natural hope in this regard here, financially speaking. But be of good cheer, my good people. At some point, truth will prevail. Okay, so what does our Congress do instead? House votes to overturn SEC guidance of crypto custody. Oh, okay, really? You know, our country is suffering in debt up to our eyeballs. People are dumping our currency. Our, U.S. liabilities are no longer wanted by the world. What do these cats want to do? Oh, it's financial banks should be able to hold crypto. I remember, I wish I can go through my archives, but for those who've been around, you probably remember, I think it was last year, there was something that took place where I'm like, watch, before the presidential election, they're going to be out here pushing for banks to own crypto. So they crack down on all the centrally controlled exchanges, crack down on the decentralized exchanges bit by bit. Tornado Cash with Ethereum, Samurai Wallet with Bitcoin. Anything to do with privacy is off limits. And so eventually, AML, KYC only will be available in and out of this crypto system through one of the big banks. This is all by design. This is not like it's something accidental. And the fact that people don't realize that they've been duped. And if you remove this distraction out of the American psyche right now, the world would be forced to recognize gold and silver. So the prices we see now in gold and silver will be gone. They'd be through the roof. And that will be our best chance at slowing down. We can't disrupt because this has to evolve because God has a plan for all this. But it'll be the best chance that we would have as a society of not being forced into a digital trap of an overwhelming surveillance state, which is what's unfolding right now. Anyway, House lawmakers voted Wednesday evening to overturn SEC's staff. So once again, like the fact that they make it appear as if like there's a rift in the political realm between the SEC, Gary Gensler, he's holding back crypto, and then we have Kathy Loomis from Wyoming. She's so pro crypto. And then we have the antagonists of everything. Elizabeth Warren. She's out here trying to ruin the crypto. It's like you got all these people being paid by taxpayer funds. And they're all, in one way or another, a part of the PSYOP to make it appear as if there's good guys and bad guys in this industry, while all along the entire industry needs to succeed. Because if this doesn't move forward, they can't issue a CBDC the way that they would like to, because once all this is exposed and comes down, or there's some vulnerabilities or some security issues, then their solution will be, we tried, now we need to take advantage of it. We need to take hold of this matter ourselves. And then that leads to the issuance of the synthetic dollar, which will come after all the chaos unfolds in the markets. Okay, so real quick. SEC staff bulletin related to digital assets accounting with 21 Democrats voting yay. So why it matters. SAB 121 has become something of a lightning rod, uniting crypto shops and major banks against the SEC. So you got major banks and crypto people working together because we've been given the behind the curtains that the big bad wolf, Gary Gensler, is in the SEC. He's causing too much harm. And so when you have the crypto community and the banks rooting in the same direction, that's when you know that something ain't right, because this was all supposed to be disruptive. So the narratives change, the agendas change, and it's toxic because the people who were a part of this community day one, who were part of the cypherpunk movement, they were more than excited to disrupt the banks. But now they're working with the banks and looking forward to the banks getting involved. Why? Because they were a part of the early adopters that got big bags. And as their bags grow, they get wealthier. They don't care, but they can't see. They're blinded by their greed and not realizing that they're being led down a trap. They're being led down a booby. It's a booby trap being set. And yeah, anyway, okay. So this is just the House. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. Senate passes bill to overturn SEC rule on Bitcoin and crypto custody. Biden threatens to veto. So now you have the big, bad, big guy in the White House. If this comes to my desk, I'm vetoing it. How much you want to bet between now and the time, say, in the summer, as a part of his campaign rhetoric after the first debate? You know, Trump already mentioned, oh, if you want crypto, you can have crypto. You know, tax cuts, you can have, whatever you want. Whatever, just say what you want. I'll give it to you. That's Trump. Biden is the opposition, like none of this, none of this, none of this. Then it's going to flip. In order to gain support in the polls, Biden decides to approve Senate bill allowing financial institutions and banks to hold crypto because it's safe for Americans. And I'm operating in your best interest. I want you all to be safe in this space. And okay. All right. And then here's something that really caught my attention. So yesterday, was it yesterday? The day before yesterday, whatever day we talked about G. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. And all the narratives from the Eastern Hemisphere and Western Hemisphere. Isn't this a way to sum up a meeting between two economies, two dictators, as the West would have us believe, to wrap up their meeting with a hug? I have never seen Xi and Putin hug, and I've been following their actions according to what we've been seeing over here for quite some time. But when you got two men that are so excited about the future that they're developing that they decide to hug each other, to me, that just spells more trouble for the West. And so here it says the last thing the West probably wants to see is Xi and V hugging each other. And so here we got just this video clip here. No sound, no sound needed. Just watch this. Look at Xi. Xi got a smile. It's like, yeah, look at these guys. Like, we're on good terms. I know we're going to make this happen. It's going to be a great remainder of this decade. Give me a hug. Come on in here. Putin was like, oh, okay. Like, is this dude trying to put a wire on me? Try to, and I imagine these meetings here that they have to be somewhat like on some, they got to be caught off guard when you see some craziness, because I'm like, the technology they have for surveillance is so in depth now. It's in your skin. They can put it on your clothes. You can breathe in some nanoparticles that allow it. What I'm saying? I'm not going on a rabbit hole, but if you've been a part of the community, you know how advanced the technology is. We haven't even seen the level of technology that is available. So these guys definitely, they have access to some technology that we got here, like Area 51 type spots. So I'd imagine, I wonder, do they trust each other when they sit across and drink water? Like, because you can have a glass of water with all types of nanobots in it that can take over your mind and drink it. And so, yeah, we can go down a rabbit hole. But if you've been around long enough, there's no such thing as conspiracy theories. It's only conspiracy facts at this point. So anyway, this is what I got for this morning. Why is silver surging? I'd imagine when you got these two guys hugging, they know something we don't. And as a result of that, what's not included in what they know is what we call our national currency. So that's what it is. All right, real quick. We got 44 minutes, man. I did a lot of ranting. Hopefully, amongst all this rant, you guys found some value. For those who were along or who came along for the ride, 3 monetary steps to savviness, the educational rabbit hole that everybody should go down if you haven't already. And it all leads to taking physical possession of what is yours, which is I'll let you guys fill in the blank. Oh, man. Jimmy Hat says the dollar is part of continuity of the government itself. Oh, hands down. And so, as I mentioned before, the dollar is not going anywhere. It's been here. We've been using the word dollar since it was first adopted. After, let me just once again, for my people who may not be too aware, I got to always act like, always speak as if there's somebody new here. So forgive me if I insult your intelligence, but if you've been with me from day one, you know. But I got to remind the newbies. So the word dollar has been a part of our vocabulary ever since it was first adopted after the signing of 1792. So if I come up here, if you really want to go down a rabbit hole, I put 1, 2, 3. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you just study those 7 coinage acts, you'll understand bit by bit how the powers that be influence our money. And around 1792, before 1792, the U.S. decided to adopt the word dollar from the Latin word, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the word thaler, Thaler, because of it was the French coin. At that time, the French coin was the world reserve currency, I think, before Britain. And they had the thaler, which was a silver unit of accountability. That was the people's money. And those units were very popular here in the U.S. or the colonies. The 13 colonies were using the thaler. And in a way to weed out the thaler, they brought in the U.S. coinage, which became known as the dollar. So the thaler was here before the dollar. And so the dollar has been a part of our monetary history ever since. And it's changed substantially. And if you just follow this little wheel here, you'll see how every pen signing that changed the dollar. So yeah, it will continue to be a part of our future. But once again, it's just being rebranded. So it ain't going nowhere. The dollar ain't going nowhere. But then again, it will impact what you can do with it, where you shop, where you buy. It went from being physical coins, paper, to a ledger, to now a surveillance booby trap. Anyway, that's what it is. Okay, I'm going on and on. Aren't cryptocurrency basically counterfeiting? Yes and no, because the distributed ledger technology is what makes it of importance. But the distributed ledger technology is not the primary benefit for the people. It's for the institutions that are adopting this technology to use it. Okay. Let me show you this. Let me share some with you. This is kind of off topic. Let me see here. I got so much stuff. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me prove my point. Let me show you what this is all about. This is why, on my end, as a researcher, as an analyst, I always keep my ears and eyes open, because when you really look at why and what, you know what this is all about. Okay, let me share with you what distributed ledger technology was really about and why it was needed and why it's here. This is an article from 2 hours ago about a subject matter that I'm going to talk about. Chainlink price surges 20% as tokenized pilot sees Wall Street embrace Link, which is a Oracle network that allows different ledgers to collaborate together in real time for there to be a output of price discovery, all types of data metrics. That's what Chainlink is good for. And Chainlink surged as a result of, after a successful tokenization pilot with U.S. financial institution DTCC. Everybody know DTCC. It is the owner of your portfolio. It owns everything in the paper and digital world. They are the primary custodians of your portfolio. You don't even know that, apart from people who've been here all along. The DTCC in New York is owned by oligarchy families that are the creators of it, because they are the ones that oversee Wall Street, and all of the products that are in portfolios are associated with their ownership. They hold it for you on behalf of the institutions, your hedge fund, your broker, whatever. They are the original owners to this day. So your portfolio goes back to them. And the distributed ledger technology was designed and built out by the private sector, the crypto cyberpunks, for the use of these institutions to tokenize our financial futures. And they will still continue to own every single thing. So everything that you think is yours now, that's in your brokerage account or your 401k, that's associated with a real asset in the form of a stock, the certificate that used to be available has been transferred to there. They're the owners of that. So they take, just give an arbitrary number, $90 trillion. $90 trillion of assets, $90 trillion of assets linked to their ownership. And they put it on the blockchain to where they can see, give it everything a serial number, where they can see, track, trace everything in real time. That makes it so that literally they can see every single thing you do, and they are the owners of it. So you have to ask their permission. And Chainlink helped them do that. So this is what the crypto space is all about, people. Don't be fooled and thinking that, okay, because I own some Chainlink, I'm going to get rich. No, they will build out the infrastructure. And then once the infrastructure is entirely built out, then crypto, the decentralized crypto space, will be exposed. Because it's either two ways it'll be exposed. It'll be a security issue and and I have a thesis I'm working on now, but it will be Bitcoin. And I have so much evidence that it makes me mad that I can't get it to the world in time to wake them up, because greed clouds the mind over liberty, freedom. Anyway, I'm going longer than I want to, but I'm trying to make a point. DTCC, everybody here know who they are. If you don't, look them up. They now are working with Chainlink on top of other to execute a pilot. So the pilot involving Wall Street firms use Chainlink technologies to bridge traditional finance and blockchain. This sums up crypto. This sums up the distributed ledger technology space in 100%. You cannot debunk that. This is what it's all about. And so literally, people who say that, oh man, it's going to disrupt the bank. It's for the banks. The banks are still winning, people. Until this is all exposed, they will win. This is a part of the agenda. 2030, 2040, you name it. This is the agenda. And once again, people might say, Mike, you're hating on crypto. Call it what you will. But then again, you have to approach this from a non-biased standpoint, regardless of how much you stand to profit off of it. Because what good does it gain a man's bags to grow and to lose your nation? With that, that's all she wrote, people. I can't end it no better than that. That's a quote from the wise Machiavelli. Be blessed, be safe, enjoy your weekend, get your weight up. Most importantly, get your prayer game up. Love life, live, laugh, and enjoy. Shalom.